All right. Off. Hey. Sorry about that. Thank you. Thank you, Hojip. Thank you. Hello. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Not Too Late, the only late night show that doesn't reciprocate. Ever. This week we are joined by the great Michael Uselin, but before we get to him, there's something that I have to get off my chest. I hate Groundhog's Day. I hate it. Just another day that we pretend to care about, like Columbus Day, Mother's Day, my birthday. We let the rabble-rousing rodent, Puxatony Phil, randomly decide the seasons, and guess what? That idiot groundhog isn't even right all that often. In fact, he's only correct in predicting the weather 39% of the time. That's lower than the Rotten Tomato ratings for Passion of the Christ. That's lower than the graduation rate at Sky High. 39%, well, that's lower than 40%. Now, if there's one thing I hate more than a weatherman, it's an amateur weatherman. And I'm not the only one to notice Puxatony Phil's blatant crimes against humanity. In 2013, a prosecuting attorney in Butler County, Ohio, had enough of Phil's criminally negligent meteorology skills and sought the death penalty against him for predicting an early spring right before one of the worst winters Ohio had ever seen. That is a true story. Now, if you ask me, death is too easy for this gluttonous scumbag rat. But that's what the persecutor asked for. Unfortunately, Pennsylvania law prevented Phil from being charged with deception and saved him from capital punishment. So that leaves us here, stuck with a buck-toothed tyrant in control of the seasons, and us powerless to challenge him, all thanks to the coward lawmakers of Pennsylvania. I suggest that we find a suitable replacement for this atrocious superstition, something or someone. Now, people love the animal charm of Phil, and some people just want accurate weather predictions. But what if I told you we could have our cake and eat it too? Al Roker in a fursuit. We have a great show tonight. Stay tuned, and we will be right back. Thank you. Welcome back to Not Too Late. It's time to get into the news for this week. A man in Albuquerque was recently arrested in a police sting for trying to pay for a prostitute with hamburgers. In unrelated news, the Hamburglar will be leaving McDonald's for personal reasons. A man who stole a lemur was sentenced to 12 years in jail. The lemur hasn't been seen since the burglary, and the man was reported in saying, "I like to steal it, steal it." Disney is collecting $250 from Emerson Elementary School after screening The Lion King for a PTA fundraiser. The school tried to fight it, but stopped when Disney said they would kill off Baby Yoda if they didn't get their money. Mark Zuckerberg said that Facebook's new approach will piss a lot of people off. When asked why, he said, "Yes, I am a people." A meth lab was found inside a convenience store in New York. Said one witness, "Damn. Now I got to go out of the way for my meth? How inconvenient." Katie Hopkins, a commentator whose Twitter got suspended for inflammatory comments, accepted a fake reward created by a fake organization called the Campaign to Unify the Nation Trophy, or the C word. I can think of another candidate to receive this award. My freaking mother-in-law, huh? Scientists discovered a marijuana compound 30 times more potent than THC after one of the scientists bought a joint from Zeke during fifth period lunch. Donald Trump congratulated the state of Kansas on Twitter after the Kansas City Chiefs won Super Bowl 54. It's in Roman numerals. "That's hilarious," I said after Googling what state Kansas City is in. A new study shows that fireflies are facing extinction due to habitat loss, pesticides, artificial light, and that one kid down the street who was really bad at catching them. Do it like this. You're supposed to go like. Dustin Schomer, also known as Penis Man, has been charged with 24 counts of criminal damage for graffitiing phallic images throughout several cities in Arizona. He was finally apprehended, but a total of 25 heavily armed SWAT team members were required to get him. I guess Schumer was surprised that he wasn't the only one packing heat. A United States postal worker in Virginia hid nearly 5,000 pieces of mail inside a storage unit he rented for $49 a month because he felt too overwhelmed to deliver it on time. Poor guy, he hates his job so much he pays $50 a month not to do it. That's just sad. El Chapo's daughter is launching a craft beer company called El Chapo. Wow, nice, good one, very clever. So we're cool with this? We're gonna pretend like this money funding this business is legitimate? Okay, cool, yeah. I'm cool with that, man. A man in Tennessee died after getting trapped in a donation bin, taking organ donor to a whole new level. The World Health Organization stated last week that the coronavirus has large potential to become a global pandemic. Experts warned that the illness would become unstoppable if a person infected with coronavirus also contracts Lyme disease. And finally, gamers in China are getting free porn to encourage them to stay inside during the coronavirus outbreak. And to that I say, hey, we got some coronavirus here. Spread the love. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Michael Uselin.
Sebastian on the street. Sebastian on the street.
Welcome back to Not Too Late, and we're going to bring out our guest, Michael Uselin. Come on out, Michael. Great to have you.
Good to see you. Thanks. Not as wild entrance as Joker made on his talk show.
No, and hopefully it doesn't end the same way.
Let's hope not.
I'm a little bit nervous for that, but I don't see anybody in clown makeup right now. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. I'm back home again in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
How much better can it get?
Glad to have you here.
Pleasure being had.
So, as you mentioned, The Joker, you were an executive producer on it. Up for an Oscar. Congrats on that.
Excuse me? Up
Just
for
one?
an Oscar?
Sorry, 11
thank you,
Oscars.
thank
Sure,
you.
sure. Now,
Only off by 10.
there's that famous scene on the stairs.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the internet's fascination with it?
I am.
Because we've got our dancing Joker, and then we have many memes. Have you seen the memes?
I have not.
So this one has Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man 3 also dancing with him.
Joker beats Spider-Man any time of the day.
Probably, yeah.
Definitely in the box office.
In the box office for sure. And then we've got this one, Big Joker, me taking the pizza, rolls out of the oven, and then Little Joker, my dog, thinking he's gonna get some.
I love it. I didn't know I was going to be on Saturday Night Live. This is excellent. You know, it's really interesting. So many people, before they saw the movie, thought that the Joker movie was going to create all sorts of outbursts of bad behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And what ultimately it has created is dancing.
Yeah,
And
no.
that is kind of an amazing thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it felt like almost every single news station had it ready, clicked for like, this bad thing happened at this screening, and it never happened.
No, I think in the case there was a lot of irresponsible media that were kind of hoping there would be a big story and kind of pushing for a big story, and the big story is dancing.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, I believe Joker is the most important movie since One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest dealing with issues of mental health in this country.
Mm-hmm. And it also hit #1 box office R-rated movie. Am I correct?
Yeah, in history, that's right.
Beat out Deadpool, right?
It did beat Deadpool.
Congratulations for that. That's
a feat for
Yeah.
sure.
You know, thank you.
So, you were an honorary commencement speaker at IU's 2006 commencement ceremony. How do you think you did?
I think I did pretty good.
And I could imagine hearing some of your stories. And what do you think 2020 Michael would do differently? How would you change up what you did? Do you have any other advice for yourself 14 years ago, how has your perspective changed?
My perspective itself hasn't changed. What I would do differently this time is not even have a single note card in front of me and just look at 20,000 people or whatever it is in Assembly Hall who are sitting in the same chairs that I sat in and just speak from my heart as somebody who was there, and I know what you're thinking, I know what you're feeling. And I'm this kid blue-collar kid from New Jersey. You know, my dad was a stonemason and my mom was a bookkeeper. I didn't come from money. I couldn't buy my way into Hollywood. I didn't know anyone in Hollywood, and I had no relatives in Hollywood. And then I wind up in Bloomington, Indiana. Now, how do you make a transition to Hollywood and make your dreams come true from Bloomington? Well, the point is you can, and there's a way to do it, and if I could do it, they can discover whatever their passions might be, follow it, get up off the damn couch, be proactive, and make it happen. And it is possible. I'm living proof, and that would be the message. I think I would just look at them and talk from my heart.
Awesome. I mean, I felt that already. I mean, I've taken both of your classes, and I'd like to see you come back for this commencement. I wish you could.
I wish I was invited. We'll see what happens.
I'll try to pull some strings. I don't know anybody, but I'll see if I can.
Well, we
meet
know
somebody.
the dean now.
We know the dean
Hey.
of the media school.
That's pretty big up there.
I'm from New Jersey. I know a guy who knows a guy.
I can imagine. So let's say, theoretically, you have complete 100% control over the next Batman movie.
Sorry.
Any vision you want will come true. Any director, anything. What Caped Crusader story would you tell us that we haven't already seen?
Two come to mind immediately. And now, I am speaking as a fanboy. I am not speaking with the producer hat on, just as a fanboy. I don't want this all over the internet. Oh my God, Uslin says this is what's coming. It's not.
Yeah.
But as a fanboy, there are two stories that jump out. One is this great story, which we've done in animation, called Batman Beyond. And it's the story of Bruce Wayne in his 70s and into 80, who's older, he's got a cane, and he breaks a young kid into preparing him to be the next Batman. Kind of like he's his Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda all put together. Years ago, we tried to make it into a live-action movie. I always thought it would be a great Clint Eastwood movie back then, with Eastwood playing Bruce Wayne in his 70s or 80. Today, Michael Keaton.
I was going to ask.
Can you
Because
imagine?
he's at the age and he played him.
Yeah.
Easy
I think,
pick.
and bring Tim Burton back so he can conclude a trilogy on Batman. I think that would be awesome. Another thing, we did an animated Batman movie, and everybody who works in animation doesn't get the spotlight they should. Brilliant people, Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, Eric Radomski, Andrea Romano, the great Mark Hamill defining the voice of the Joker, Kevin Conroy defining the voice of Bruce Wayne. And we did one called Mask of the Phantasm. And I contend today it is arguably the best Batman story ever told in the media. And I would love to see a live-action version of that someday.
Hopefully one day we will.
And if you're talking directors, and I can have anyone I ever wanted, Orson Welles, Alfred Hitchcock,
Ooh.
and Fritz Lang. I would love to see those three versions of Batman.
That'd be beautiful. I wish.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
So as an undergrad here at IU, you became the first instructor to ever to teach an accredited course on comic book folklore at any university. How did that come together for you? And do you know anyone who knows close to as much about comic books as you do?
Yes, my son.
Your son.
Yeah.
Is that it? Anybody else?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, I have a bunch of cronies going all the way back. We all went to work for DC Comics. They called us the Junior Woodchucks. And we were the first generation of fans working in the industry. And we started out together. We loved comics together in an era when reading comic books was really subversive. And, you know, people looked down on you if you were over the age of 12 and you were still reading and collecting comic books. Oh, for God's sake, it was so uncool. When I was in high school, if the girls found out you were 16, 17 and still reading comic books, you were date challenged.
Done.
And if I could go and yell back to Michael in high school, say, guess what? The girls think it's cool now. It's like a date movie. You won't believe it. And that's how things have changed.
That's how things have changed?
Yeah.
Is there any sort of Illuminati for comic book scholars? Any sort of underground? Do you have any sort of groups with them? You guys get together every year, exchange rare issues or anything like that?
It's called Comic-Con.
Just Comic-Con.
And yes, 200,000 of us get together informally and hang out and have a couple of beers and talk a lot of comics.
Not nearly as exclusive as I thought it'd be.
Not quite, yeah. It's kind of opened itself up a lot more.
And in 2005, you donated about 30,000 comic books to IU's Lilly Library. And when you were going through that process, how did you decide which ones to keep and which ones to donate? Because I imagine that was a gut-wrenching process.
It was a gut-wrenching process directed by my wife. Saved my marriage. Actually, we're up to 45,000 now that have been donated.
Wow.
Can you imagine 45,000 comic books in one place at one time? It really, I've been married 46 years to the girl I met first day of my freshman year at Indiana. She was not even unpacked when we went out for the first time. And I think we now have the Hollywood record. We wouldn't have if I had kept all the comic books in the house. So yeah, it was difficult, but you know, sometimes you got to force yourself out of your comfort zone. You've got to realize life is changing, and you're not always going to have a big house to put these things in. I don't want them in a warehouse stored somewhere. I don't want to eBay them and make a fortune by selling off one at a time. And I thought the best thing to do would be to keep it together and put it somewhere to use where students, scholars, academicians could access it and use it for a century to come.
Absolutely, and we thank you for that.
I'm really pleased to do it.
And one final question. IU has been running you through the ringer for these past 2 weeks, and you still have a long weekend to come. You were teaching 2 weekend classes. You're giving all these talks. You're going to showings of movies. You are getting your ass kissed by every single media student.
Kicked or kissed, yeah.
Yeah, either one.
He just summed up Hollywood right there. That's it.
And I just want to know, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
I am so energized because the students are so interested and engaged. And what you have to realize is when I went to school here, there was no media school, there was no telecom, there was no film. It was radio and TV, period, end of story. It was next to impossible to find a course that would have any kind of applicability to what I wanted to do, what my dreams were. And nobody came back to tell me, oh, you could do it, or this is how I could do it, or here's a path, this is the way it's done in Hollywood. Nobody. I had to figure this all out on my own. I had to figure out, how do you jump the Grand Canyon? So IU, through the comic book course, allowing me to teach that as an undergrad, the first college accredited course on comics. I wrote the first textbook on comics that IU published and allowed me to teach through correspondence. I got my 3 degrees here, including law school. And here was this quirky, odd, geeky comic book guy who had very unique needs and demands, and they bent over backwards to cater to those unique needs of one student. And they gave me the tools I needed to get to where I wanted to go. They empowered me. So to come back here now and to pay it forward and to be able to tell the students, okay, this is how it's done. This is what experiential learning from people who are in the trenches every day in the business. It's changing so fast. You have to adapt. And even simple things like, professionally, when you get in the real world, better to be an hour early than 5 minutes late to a movie. Dress the way you want to be perceived. You've got to engage people. Look them in the eye if you don't know them. Shake their hand. Introduce yourself, because it's a small industry that requires socialization skills. You got to talk to people. You got to force yourself to do that, even when it feels uncomfortable. And you can't just talk this way. You got to be able to talk this way. And just things like that to come back and do. And it's the reason I also have donated my collection to the Lilly Library. So for me, it validates all the long years it took, 10 hard years from the time I bought the rights to Batman, after I was rejected by every single studio in Hollywood, told it was the worst idea they ever heard and that I was crazy. 10 years. That's a lot of heartache to go through for me and my family. Coming back and using it for positive reasons to teach other people, it helps validate all of that. And I think that's good for the soul.
And I got to tell you, as somebody who's taken both of your classes, I am beyond grateful for everything you do for IU. And I think everybody in this room probably agrees with that. Am I right? Well, thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
We're not quite done with Michael yet. We have a quick game of Pitch Perfect, so we are going to be right back.
Uh-oh.
Sebastian on the street.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sebastian on the street.
We are back with Michael Uselin. Now, Michael made superhero movies what they are today with his amazing ability to pitch stories, specifically with the Batman franchise. So today we are putting that ability to the test with a game we call Pitch Perfect. In these cups in front of us, we have prompts that will help us pitch superhero movies. In the first, our superhero name. In the second, our superhero's superpower. And in the third, what they are trying to save the world from. The rest is up to us. We have 15 seconds to think about a pitch and then 45 seconds to pitch it. I will go first, and then after we both go, the audience will vote on a winner. Each round, audience will vote on a winner each round. There we go. There will be 3 rounds. Let's get started. All right. Just tore it in half.
It's like a fortune cookie.
Fortune cookies are, at least they get lucky numbers. These are just little names.
Could they make them any smaller? Oh my God.
Yeah, could have done a little bit bigger font. This looks like Times New Roman 11 point. I got a hard one.
All right, your time's up.
Jerry Garcia was a surfer. Well, at least he was. Before the accident. Whoa, man. That's what he always used to say. Till people started calling him that. Whoa, man. After the accident, they had to replace all of his bones with metal. Now they're unbreakable. He's got unbreakable bones, but he's got a very breakable spirit. That breakable spirit causes him to be derailed, tortured, and eventually turned into a bad guy. In the story of Whoa Man, something Garcia, don't remember his first name, has to save the world from himself. There'll be tragedy, there'll be betrayal, but most of all, you're going to say, whoa.
Time.
Well done.
There we go. What? What? We're good. Go ahead.
All right. I will give each of you $1 if you vote for me.
Do I get $1?
No.
Aw,
Okay, so this is the name. Oh, good.
that's a good name.
Yep. Power.
I was hoping you were going to get that one.
Okay. Ready? This is the story of an evil, the worst kind of super villain in history, a lawyer. He has the power of attorney. And he fights this great superhero, Captain Tecmo. He uses his tech to save the world from an artificial intelligence revolution coming from the planet Uranus. He's got to do everything to save the whole Earth from Uranus. No matter what, we've got to avoid Uranus at all costs. This is a movie starring Will Ferrell, and I know you'll all love it. It's an R-rated comedy.
All right. I should have picked a funny planet name. All right. Audience, let's just point to who won. All right, overwhelming points to that side.
Here's
1 to 0.
Here's your $1. Thank
There's
you.
$1.
Oh, we're doing it again?
Oh, we're doing 3 rounds.
Oh, holy moly.
Think you can handle it?
Yeah.
What a bad power. Joel Schumacher. I know what you guys are thinking. That guy looks smelly. Well, he is. And especially to our superhero, Dynawind. Now, Dynawind was born with a broken nose, but then when he went into plastic surgery, he came out with a nose even better than any other nose that you've got, that you've got, that you've got. He could smell anything. But the one thing that he wishes he couldn't smell was Joel Schumacher. I don't know who that is. This is the story of Dynawind and his quest to travel across America. A little bit of Japan, too. Don't know why he goes there, but he goes there to defeat Joel Schumacher, to teach the guy to use deodorant, to shower, and to love his kids. Thank you.
Wow. Oh, isn't that a summer camp in Kentucky? All right.
I'm not familiar with summer camps or Kentucky.
Wow, okay.
Oh,
Oh,
good power.
yeah. Oh, this is perfect. Perfect.
Is that what I want to hear?
Do I have to wait for you to tell me to go, or can I just plunge into this?
He's ready.
Okay, do you all know who Blue Star is? Well, first of all, he is a superhero who chose the wrong color. Every successful superhero is green. Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Green Llama. Blue just doesn't work for a superhero. And it has very bad sexual connotations to it, so we try to avoid it. So he has this incredible shape-shifting power that enabled him to get in the door at DC Comics for possible induction into the Legion of Substitute Superheroes. These are superheroes who have bad superpowers, and they're only used as substitutes when the main guys go down. It includes people like Matter Eater Lad from the planet Bismol, and Bouncing Ball Boy, and Bouncing Ball Girl. And they are trying to save the day from Papa John's Day of Reckoning. This is why Matter Eater Lad came from the planet Bismol and is bringing us things that will help us in our battle against Papa John's. You never will believe the next thing that happens. How much time do I have left?
10 seconds.
Get ready, because you've never heard of this in a movie before. You've never seen it in a movie before. It's like the most incredible thing. It's going to absolutely knock your socks off you. This is actually going to entirely culminate when Blue Star, oh, I'm sorry, time's up.
All right. Now I want to know. All right, who won? All right, also him. I could still win it, right? I cannot. But
You
I can
got to
still
leave
try.
them wanting more.
Exactly.
Oh, you got this, jeez.
Oh yeah,
I don't have a prayer.
I think I got handed a little bit of a slam dunk. I'll ruin it still though.
Go, I touch everything you know.
Jeff Bezos. Bill Gates. What do these two have in common? They've got no money compared to Warrior Cobra, the hero of this story. Now I know all of you, we all go to IU. IU parking sucks, we hate it. Some of us would agree that they're the real evil, the real villain in this world. Well, you know who else agrees? Warrior Cobra. That's why this summer we're getting the ultimate romance tale of Warrior Cobra, who comes to Bloomington to meet and marry every single Bloomington lady by paying for every single unpaid parking ticket enforced and given by Bloomington Parking. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. It might make you crap your pants. I don't know. Test groups are weird. Thank you.
I love that. You so got that one. Let's see, hero name. All right, okay.
Good hero name.
I can work with that.
What is he saving the world from?
Oh, okay. It all started in Gnawbone, Indiana. If you've ever been there, you driving on 46 West, there's a sign that says you're now entering Gnawbone. 3.2 seconds later, there is a sign saying, "You are now leaving Narbonne." It is the smallest town in America, but it is the home to two major superheroes. It's a generational super family saga about a superhero known as the Hoosier. And his father, who originally was a superhero during World War II, who everyone knew as Hoosier Daddy. They have X-ray vision. It is a vision that enables them to see X-ray machines in every hospital around the country. The problem is with this wonderful superpower, it's basically useless. So how do you use this power to your biggest advantage? The answer came with a terrible thing that was about to happen. Just like happened 66 million years ago here, when a massive space rock came out of space, slammed into the Earth, destroyed the dinosaurs, almost wiped out all life on the planet Earth forever. But Hoosier and Hoosier Daddy uses their X-ray vision to melt the rock before it arrives in Narbonne. It's reduced to the size of a pebble. They then put it on display in the geology building at Indiana University on 10th Street, where the whole world can see how Hoosier and Hoosier Daddy saved Bloomington, Indiana, and the planet Earth.
Although it's moot, who won round 3?
Ooh, we've got a split decision. I think we need a vote, or we need a count. This is like Iowa, for God's sake.
I'll pick one audience member. Oh, no. Who won? He won. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A 3-0 victory. Congratulations.
Checks in the mail.
Checks in the All right. Thank you all for watching, and thank you, Michael, for joining us.
Thanks,
we really
Tucker.
appreciate you having
This
here.
was fun.
It is an honor. And I want to thank you for everything you do for IU. It really means a lot, especially to us in the media school. It always gives us hope to see people like you doing huge things out in Hollywood. We're all just here doing our measly little stuff.
Can I give you a preview of my Oscar speech?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I can't wait to see what you do with the next Batman. I'm very excited.
Thanks.
Join us next time on Not Too Late when Jesse Eisenberg and I make sweet, sweet pudding. And I'll see you all next time. And don't forget, it's not too late to kiss your homie goodnight. On the lips. All right, I'll see you guys later.